who loves journaling. I do, guilty. I do it a little bit differently, but today I want to revisit. I'm reading Julia Cameron's The Artist's Way again. And years ago, I thought it was just like, oh, it's the morning pages lady, write 3 pages to declutter your mind. And now I'm revisiting it, and, a lot has changed in my life. I'm like, oh, this is pretty profound. It's very simple, but it is essentially a spiritual path, and that's what she calls it. And it's all about, it's like the morning pages, 3 pages of longhand writing in the morning about whatever. She calls it a meditation. For me, I guess it would be a meditation after the actual meditation. And it's simply about the motion, letting the hand flow across the page, and then letting that lead to kind of a creative flow, a decluttering, and a connection with what she calls the field of electricity, really, kind of the underlying field of consciousness or vibration from which we get, creative impulses and energy. And, I often do prompts. I often do a lot of other journaling techniques. I like it. I like to think of it as mind-body journaling, moving from thinking to body to emotional experience. But today I was just free writing The Artist's Way, I guess, the morning pages. And I noticed that when I go into free writing, there's often this kind of wave that I go through. It starts with maybe a little bit of resistance. There's like, I'm tired. There's kind of this complaining, we're wasting our time doing this. And then it hits kind of the different emotional states. And it's almost like a wave that visits different places in me or in my life. Like there's like fear about what's happening, fear and doubt. Then there's anger. There's that fiery energy of, everything is like, that's so much. And like, why can't this work? And there's all that frustration that comes out, and out of that comes a different kind of energy, a kind of fire energy, the impulse to change things. And that often leads to kind of their sadness and grief. And these kind of unfold. It's like peeling away an onion, right? And so like one emotion comes next after having gone through one layer and experienced that. And so there's this venting process. And then there's the, oh my God, I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling sad. This is happening. That's happening. This person, like, and then after that, there's often, not always, but sometimes out of that kind of journey comes some creative impulse or some quote or something. And I was reminded of the dancing practice I love, which is called 5 Rhythms, which is also kind of inward flowing, listening, staccato, kind of like an expression, chaos, kind of surrender to whatever it is. But often it's, it's grief, it's anger, it's frustration, like letting all of that pass through you. And towards the end, kind of this lyrical phase, this poetic phase of like, okay, now that I'm on the other side, how do I re-express what's happening? How do I, what new shapes and what new words do I find for my experience? And where am I on the other side of the mountain or of the valley or of the river, whatever I've kind of crossed? And so what came up for me today was first this kind of wave of, the uncertainty of moving to a different place, the fear of what's going to happen, the struggle with letting go of a lot of things, place, a lot of books, furniture, relationships, just all of this old identity stuff, and the fear of what's coming next, the frustration of the whole process and the exhaustion. And then, people were doing work in my building and knocking on the door. And like, that was like, oh my God, respect my boundaries. So it was that kind of whole thing. And then, the sadness. And then on the other end, was this moment of kind of pure aliveness. And I kept writing things like, I don't want to kind of die and be stuck in the old. I want to live. I want to move. I want to dance. I want to sing. I want to love. I want to breathe. And that was kind of almost a whole page of just, I want to live. I want to move. I want to breathe. I want to dance. I want to sing. Bum, ba, bum. And so for that source of energy to emerge and to connect to, it took the motion through the other stages. And, not every session is like that, but I do think there is something that can happen like this wave of going through different stages at different places in your life, in different places of your inner experience. So, it's a super simple book, a bestseller. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I'd written something so simple and profound as that. And yeah, but it's I'd recommend it. I think it's a really simple but effective practice. And if you're interested more in life, writing, journaling, creativity, whatever, come to the Substack. I host online journaling sessions, and yeah, stop by, connect.